Hey, what's going on, guys? So here we have the completed P-Bandai Master Grade F90 Gundam F90. It is a really cool kit. It is, I gotta tell you guys, a real shame that this is a P-Bandai kit, that it's not widely accessible to everyone. We all can't easily just go out and pick this up on the shelves anywhere, that you have to get this through P-Bandai sellers, because man, this kit is pretty awesome, and it's a very good Master Grade, and it's a completely new Master Grade as well. So it's just kind of a shame when we get these P-Bandai kits that are completely entirely new. We've seen a couple of them out in the HG line so far, but to see a full-on Master Grade like this being an entirely new kit and being such a good kit too, man, it just really sucks. But I highly recommend you guys, if you like this design, just pay up what you have to pay to get one, and it shouldn't be all that too expensive, as the list price for this was relatively low, so even through P-Bandai resellers it shouldn't really break the bank too badly, I would expect. And it's definitely worth the price. It doesn't really come with a whole lot in terms of like a whole bunch of accessories. It's pretty standard, just your shield, beam rifle, and beam saber is pretty standard Gundam loadout. But the kit is super solid. The color separation is really good. You have some nice details in there, and just the style of it is just really cool and unique as well. So as always, guys, a big thank you to USA Gundam Store for making this possible. If you guys want to check out some P-Bandai stuff or anything there on their site, the link to USA Gundam Store will be down below. Go there and use the coupon code ZakuAurelius10, save 10% off everything there on their site, including anything P-Bandai and all of that as well. Alright, so one of the perks of this being a P-Bandai kit is that we do get some really nice water slide decals included. Now, if this was a standard release, we unfortunately wouldn't have any water slides in it, most likely. These would just be regular sticker decals, so I guess there is a bright side to it being P-Bandai in one aspect, I suppose. We have some really nice EFSF, F90 logos on there, the SNRI logos, so some nice marking logos, like little triangle decals that you use, and then just some standard kind of caution marking logos there, mostly in white and red, and a few gray ones in there as well. We've got a little action base adapter here, and for our hands there's going to be the swappable finger type, so you have just these for making closed fists. You also have a set for holding the beam sabers, and then you have a set with the trigger finger extended for holding the beam rifle. The beam saber handles are stored up there on the backpack. As you can see, we've got the clear blue beam saber effect parts for this. Also a kind of refreshing change of pace, because usually typically with any sort of Gundam type mobile suit like this, they're pink. In this case, them being blue is a nice change of pace. Then we've got the beam rifle, which is pretty cool. I like the style of this, and of course very nicely detailed there as well. We've got a little sticker for the camera lens for that. The energy pack on the back can be removed like that, and they all have pegs on them to be able to plug into the back of the shield, which I'll show you in a moment. The secondary handle towards the front does move side to side. This is kind of your typical Gundam beam rifle like that. And then we have the shield, again, some really nice color separation in here with the gray parts, the yellow parts, the red parts all poking through the white and blue color scheme on the back of the shield. Some nice detail there in white and gray, and there's our extra ammo packs. Two of them plugged into there. You do also have a fourth one as well, which is not really useful for anything. You can't really do much with it, but you do have a fourth one of those if you'd like. So this will plug onto the arm, and then you have this handle here which will move, that you can attach the hand onto there like that. Now, this kit did utilize some foil stickers in here as well. Most of the amazing color separation that you can see there is mostly just separated parts, but some of this is stickers. So here on the head, of course, we have stickers for the eyes and the head camera up there at the top. Around here at the back, tucked up in there, you do have a blue foil sticker for the camera on the back of the head as well. Here on the backpack, that white triangle there, that is a sticker. On the sides of the arms and sides of the legs there, little yellow and black triangle stickers there. On the front of the front skirts, little red and black triangle stickers there. And then on the front of the ankle armor, little black and red stickers here. So this is probably like the biggest sticker there, but again, it's all pretty much just for these little tiny little triangle details, which, I mean, they could have maybe done some of those as separate parts, but if you just take a look around the kit in general, I mean, like the little gray and yellow bits poking out there on the side of the chest, little yellow bit there on the side of the chest, and all these little yellow bits poking out, and little gray bits poking out here and there and there and there and everywhere here on the feet. Little yellow and gray vents there. And then, this is not sticker related, but you have the mesh hoses here at the back of the ankles there, and then on the front of the feet, they're kind of really hard to see. It's mesh hoses that wrap around there on the inside of the front of the foot there as well. Similar, like with the Master Grade Gundam Mark II, also utilizes that, as well as like the Master Grade Hazel and a couple other Master Grade kits. So personally, I don't really like that all too much, because a lot of times at the end of the day, they don't really often look the best. I would kind of prefer if that was just a separate part, but then the problem you run into if they try to make parts that look like that is then that oftentimes you'll have the mold line going through the details, and you have a bunch of little tiny little details there to make it look sort of like a mesh hose in some cases, and if you have mold lines running through that, it's just kind of impossible to really do much of anything with that. So I guess there's pros and cons. The mesh does look pretty cool though. If you're going to build this just straight out of the box, it does look nice. Now before we get into some of the articulation, I just want to reiterate again just how solid this kit feels. Nothing on this kit feels loose at all. It just feels solid like a rock. I know you guys will appreciate that I generally don't do this in my reviews, but just to prove how solid this kit is, just shaking it like that pretty strongly, and it's kind of barely bending the knee a little bit, and that's about it. So really super solid kit. But anyway, the head will go up to about there, which is not that much. I kind of wish that we had a little bit more upward movement there at the head, but it's not too bad. And then down to there, and of course rotation, everything. I do kind of like the fact that the V-fin is a little bit more kind of splayed out. It's not quite as much of an upward angle as we're usually seeing for a Gundam, so it's a little bit different, a little bit more unique look to that. Again, fantastic color separation here with the little Vulcans being separate parts in there and everything. For our torso section, we have a stomach crunch to the front and back there like that, so that's also pretty nice. We do also have a little bit of side-to-side movement there at the base where it connects the top and bottom half of the kit together basically, and then some rotation here as well, of course. And the cockpit does open up. There we go, kind of tricky, it just opens up like that, and inside we do have a seated pilot figure way up in there, maybe a little bit hard to see, but he's up there, believe me. As for the shoulders, those will rotate forward and back like that, can pull out to the front like so, so pretty nice like that, and then the shoulder armor itself will move freely up and down like that. Ultimately, we can bring the arm up all the way up to there, which is pretty darn good there as well. You may have heard this part fall off. This is the only part that I'm noticing does have a tendency to fall off kind of easily, is this part here covering the side skirt. Now, if you guys are unaware, there's different add-on sets available for this. And actually, we just recently got an announcement of another add-on pack they're coming out with, but this is just for one of the hard points for some of the add-on parts to be able to plug there onto the side skirt. So it's good that that's not too tight, because then it'd be kind of a pain to try to take off if you're wanting to use the add-on parts. But if you are just wanting to keep that on there permanently, maybe just a little bit drop of glue just to make sure that doesn't get lost or anything. But anyway, back to the arms, they work pretty much as usual. Rotation there at the top, nice double joint here at the elbow to give you a really full bend there. The wrist is just connected via a ball joint there as usual as well. Down here for the skirt armor, those will move individually. Can bring those all the way up, and there's some nice detail up inside there as well. The side skirt's not going to move up quite as far just because they're kind of running into the side of the torso there, but I guess if you bent it a little bit like that, you could get that a little bit more out of the way like so. Going around here to the back skirt, you have these three little hooks which will all open up like that, and this is for storing the beam rifle on the back skirt. So those will just grab onto the beam rifle like that for storing that on there. It looks pretty cool, I gotta say. But otherwise, this back skirt doesn't move at all, but we do have a pretty interesting way that the whole hip section moves in order to put our action base adapter in place here. So this whole front part here will kind of fold down and out like that, and then this middle section will all rotate forward. Then you take your action base adapter, slide it up into place there, close that back up, close this back up here on the front, and then your action base adapter is very firmly connected up into the hip section there. As far as the leg articulation, those can come all the way out to the side there, even though I said the side skirt armor does get in the way a little bit. Let me see if we kind of have this move this way and the side skirt armor will only come up to there. Then still the leg can still only come out to about there, but that's really not all that bad. We've of course got some rotation there at the top of the leg, and then if we move this front skirt up out the way a little bit, you can bring the leg up all the way forward up to there, and then our bend at the knee is going to give us a really nice full 180-degree bend there at the knee. Very nice. No separation of this knee armor part there, but it is still a really nice knee bend. This ankle armor is actually connected at the back of the ankle, but that will still move up and down a little bit like that. The feet will move side to side, no problems there. There's no toe bend, unfortunately, but the foot can still come up to the front like that, and then all the way back down like that, up underneath the feet. Some really nice part separation and detail up underneath there as well. Very cool. Ah yes, then we can't forget about the backpack though here as well. These thruster bells are just on ball joints, so these will be able to move around a little bit like that. You can sort of change the angle of those. And the racks where the beam saber handles plug into, you can also rotate just a little bit to sort of change the angle of those a slight bit, but not really all that much. And the beam saber handles just pull out of there very easily. I like the design of these, how they're very slim and just have a cool unique look to them, just a little bit different, a little bit longer in terms of just like overall proportions to the body. The beam saber handles are pretty long, and just that slim design does make them look pretty cool. And just for a size comparison here, as you guys may be well aware, the F90, not the biggest Gundam, so it's going to be a little bit smaller, and as you can tell compared to just your standard size 18-meter mobile suit there, the Gym Sniper 2, you can tell it's definitely going to be smaller than your average Master Grade kit. But again, that just means it's just much more impressive, the little tiny bits of color separation and part separation that you get with this kit in a relatively small package, all things considered. So really, besides the fact that this is a p-bandai kit and therefore going to be of limited availability, there's not really a whole lot to complain about it. The articulation is really nice, the color separation and part separation of it is all really nice. It's a really solid feeling kit, it's got some nice details on there as well. There's practically nothing you have to worry about with seam lines with this kit that you have to get rid of. And it even, on top of all that, it comes with some waterslide decals as well, so it's a very highly recommended kit. If there's really nothing much that I could really say differently about it. I mean, I like pretty much everything about it. There's nothing really that I would change. If there was one very tiny nitpick that I would make with this, one thing that I wish would have been included in the box is a set of open hands. It's nice that we have, holding hands, trigger finger hands, and closed fits. One other option of just having just open extended fingers to make an open hand as well would have been nice. That seems like a very minor thing that could have very well easily been thrown onto one of the runners there, so it's a shame that that was not included. But other than that very small thing, there's nothing really too much to complain about with this kit. So again, if you're a fan of the design, I highly recommend you pick this up. If you're a fan of the expansion packs, so far none of them have really struck me as something that I really wanted to mess with myself. The unfortunate thing about the expansion packs is they're not sold with the Gundam, so if you wanted to get like every expansion pack comes with 2 different options in it, and so if you got 2 different expansion packs, then ultimately you'd have 4 options. Then you would have to buy 4 of this kit to actually use all of those option equipment parts on your Gundams without having to switch if you want to actually have them all in use. So that is kind of unfortunate if you do actually want to collect and equip all of the different equipment packs. You have to buy a ton of just this one main Gundam. So fortunately, like I said before, it's not that expensive, but if you're paying p-bandai premium prices for it, that's going to add up pretty quick. But anyway guys, that about does it for the review. Hopefully this was helpful for any of you guys that were looking for some more information on the kits. If you have any other further questions or comments, of course, feel free to leave those down below. Again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye guys.